Hello, everybody. It's great to have lots of students here who are interested in doing their Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award by canoe with Joy of Adventure. So brilliant to have you all around. And I'm really pleased that you have joined us this afternoon. I know we've got quite a lot of students from Long Road, and the information that we'll be giving to the Long Road students, your sign-up process is slightly different from some of the others who've already signed up. So I know there's people here who have signed up, people who haven't signed up, and people from various different schools, which is always great because you end up making lots of great friends as a result of doing your Duke of Edinburgh's Award. So my plan this afternoon is just to kind of go through this kind of agenda. We're working with actually over 14 different schools. And we've been doing Joy of Adventure for the last 10 years. I've been doing stuff in the outdoors since I did my gold when I first started teaching. So I'm going to talk to you about who I am and who the staff are. I had hoped that we got some students to join us, but unless they manage to come in later, I won't have the ex-students. We'll talk about who we are. We'll explain about what an AAP is. We'll then talk about the 20 conditions. I know lots of you have done your bronze and silver, so you'll know all about the 20 conditions, maybe. We'll talk about the training options and the assessed options, and then how to book, and then we'll talk about any questions in the chat box. So just to give you a bit of my background, I started off life as a science teacher, and in my first school, the head said to me, "Hey Joy, do you fancy running DofE?" I just thought that was fantastic. What a great way to get to know students out of the classroom. I realized I was young enough, so I then did my gold at the same time as running it in the school. I'd rowed when I was at university, so I learnt to scull for my physical. I'd done some sewing before, so I then learnt to do I'd always wanted to make wedding dresses, so I made a wedding dress for my skill. And then for my volunteering, I did the thing in the school. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. And actually that then opened a doorway for me, which has meant for the last 40 odd years, I have worked with young people in the outdoors and in education. So I worked as a youth worker, I've worked in schools, and then it was 10 years ago when DofE changed, and I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. But I'm a qualified sea, you can see me here, sea kayaking, a sea kayak and a canoe and an open boat coach with British Canoeing. I'm also a mountain leader. And Rod, who I'm going to introduce you in a minute, we both are outdoor first aid providers, and that means that we run the outdoor first aid course for other people. So lots of Duke of Edinburgh Award leaders have to have their 2-day 16-hour outdoor first aid, so we have that, and we have that as well. And we're also accredited practitioners of the Outdoor Institute of Outdoor Learning, so we've got lots of tickets because we love doing what we're doing. This is Rod. This was last year when we were on the D. He's got a dog there called Rolo. I've got 2 dogs. I've got Nala, who is a black lab, and she'll be with us on expedition. I've also got Poppy, and you'll see Poppy in lots of pictures. She's been with me for a long time, but she is now 15 and a half. So it's astounding she's keeping going, but she doesn't come on as many expeditions anymore. Rod's based up in North Wales. He was deputy director of an outdoor centre. The outdoor centre closed, and now he does freelance work. So he's a level 5 coach. He's also a mountain guide, highly experienced, and runs lots of expeditions for lots of people, not just with me. So that's Rod. These were going to be the students. That was Christian. He was there. He did the Cam Rivers assessed last year. And we had Zach, who's there at the back. This was mainly a Hills Road group who canoed down the River Spey, and they had just an amazing time. And I was going to introduce you to Zach, but he's not here, so I can't. So the company that I run is called Joy of Adventure. We, about 10 years ago, DofE realised that there weren't enough teachers in school to be able to provide the expedition, or enough qualified teachers in school to be able to provide the expeditions for DofE. And that's when DofE changed, really from being much more volunteer led to actually people now, there being companies which are providing expeditions. And in order to make sure that they were all accredited, DofE set up what was called the Approved Activity Provider kite mark. So that means that they come and check us. We pay money to them, of course, and they, if we want to, they'll advertise our courses. But it means that all our courses are, all our expeditions we're under DofE, and we are approved activity providers for them. We're also lots of other things. So we've got our ALA license, that's a health and safety license. We're accredited members of the Institute of Outdoor Learning. We're ITC providers. And then the new British Canoeing logo is more like this, and because we're coaches, we can also provide the Start and Discover Award. So all of you, if you do an expedition with us, will get the Start Award, and then if you want to, you can get the Discover Award. The Start Award is free. The Discover Award, well, last year it was £6. They may put it up, but you never know. But you can also get that, which means that if you're going to hire boats when you go on and do stuff elsewhere, if you've got this certificate, then whoever you're hiring it from will be very impressed that you have done 6 days of paddling and you know the difference between going forward and backwards, and you can rescue. So that's something that you'll get as a result of doing the expedition with us. So Gold DofE, you have to be over 16 in order to start. You don't have to have done bronze or silver. And the amazing thing is you don't have to finish the award until you're 25. The bit that is easiest to do while you're still in school is definitely the expedition, because you have to do that with a group of other people. You have to do that under an approved provider. But after that, the choice is yours. Okay, so for gold, because I know for some people this is all very new, there are 5 sections, and I'm just going to whip through those sections so that you know what they are. We don't provide them. We only provide the expedition section, but at least you know what you're taking on. Okay, so next section here is the volunteering section, but of course it's the volunteering section, just making a difference in your community. As a result of COVID, there's actually loads of things you can do online. I really encourage students, you're all in the 6th form, you're all just about to maybe apply to university. So do something that might be linked to what you're interested in going on as a career. A friend of mine's daughter thought she wanted to do medicine, so volunteered at Addenbrooke, a hospital in Cambridge, hated every moment of it, and so therefore chose not to do medicine for her degree, and is now actually a radio producer, and I hear her name on quite a few radio programs, which is very exciting. But you can volunteer at sports clubs in school, drama clubs, brownies, scouts, all those sorts of things you can do for your volunteering. Physical, aiming to get fitter. It's not about being in the football team or the netball team, but it can be. So if you're into the football team, the netball team, the rugby team, whatever it is, that's great. But you can also do yoga or running or walking from home and just log it, because there's so many different apps you can now log it on. Skill, practical, social interest or personal skills. Now, this is the one that most of you are probably doing something already. So if you're doing coaching of any sort, if you're doing coaching of football or something like that, that counts. If you're doing your first aid, that counts. If you are doing music or drama, that's a skill and that counts. Some people think, oh no, what I really want to do is I want to be a really good cook by the time I go off to university. And so they cook one evening meal for their family, take a photo of it, and get somebody in school or college to be your assessor. So really it's up to you. Really encourage you to do something you really enjoy, because that's what's important. Residential, often students find this one quite difficult to do. You need to go away with majority of people you don't know, doing something that's going to make a difference as a group, or learning something. And certainly last year it had to be approved by your DofE manager. So you can't just go and do something and think it will work. Get it approved, because there was a group of people who thought they'd done their residential and had already hit 25. And then when it went to be approved by DofE in Windsor, they didn't approve it. So the residential is a really great opportunity to go off and do something, but do get it checked before you go. Here are some of them. National citizenship, if that's still running, that's a really easy way to get it done, because you have great fun. It only costs 50 quid and you get your residential at the same time. Helping on kids' summer camps. That's a great one. You make a real difference. As somebody who runs kids summer camps, having competent gold DofEers there is just wonderful. There are cooking courses. There's all sorts of courses you can do. Driving. So for your skill, lots of you are learning to drive. That also counts. You can do a 5-day driving course, residential, and that would be a residential. So lots and lots of things. But again, do something that you'll really enjoy and something that will make a difference. Okay, and you can learn in the process. Expedition. Now that's the bit that everybody thinks all DofE is about. I think it's the bit that everybody remembers, the good bits, the bad bits, and there will be hard bits. There's no way that you can do a 4 or a 5-day journey and not get stroppy at some stage or tired or frustrated. But the memories you make will last a lifetime. What's the aim? To inspire young people to develop initiative, a sense of adventure in discovering and planning and training for and completing an adventurous journey as part of a team. Okay, that's the plan. The minimum time for gold, the assessed gold expedition, is 4 days and 3 nights, and you need to do 8 hours of activity, of which 5 must be journeying. Obviously, canoeing, we're limited by where the campsites are. And technically, it needs to be in wild country because we're still under COVID rules from DofE. That's where the Cam rivers, which actually some places that are quite wild, still counts. Okay. So from A Joy of Adventure, our aim is that we inspire you to go on journeys. We want this to be the first of many adventures that you go on. And we also want the expedition to be safe, secure and social, so that when you go off on your own on your next one, you'll also be safe, secure and have great fun. So the first of many expeditions is our aim, and that you learn loads as you go. DofE has 20 conditions, the expedition 20 conditions, and for any assessed expedition, that's what the assessor is going to assess you on. So it doesn't matter if you get up late or you arrive late, but it does matter if you keep to the 20 conditions. So both for students and parents, I just want to go through a few of these. You and your team must plan and organise the expedition and describe the role you played. So I've just had a long email from a group that's going to the River Spey, and they've called themselves Joy's Boys, and they wanted to check that their travel arrangements were all going to work with the canoeing. Which was great. And because they're going to fly up to Inverness to start with, they wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to look after their rucksacks while they're canoeing down the river. So that's great. So that the young person who's been emailing me has definitely got his team planning and organising. The rest of the group I've not heard from, doesn't matter at the moment, but they're going to have to describe the role they've played when they talk to the assessor at when they're doing their assessed expedition. Gold expedition minimum 4 days, and we've said that, but down at the bottom for the gold practice, the minimum is 2 days and 2 nights, and that's what we're offering to you folks. Apart from those of you, I think there's one person here who's joining us on the Spey. We have still got one more place left there. You get an extra day's practice because we give you moving water practice on the first day at the Spey. Just again, number 13, all expeditions are unaccompanied, self-sufficient and properly equipped. So really from a parent's point of view, it's unaccompanied. We paddle with you on the first day until we feel you're competent and you know what you're doing and we're training you. And then after that, we meet you. The only other thing would be that on the River Spey particularly, we do accompany you on the bits that are just where we feel you need it. So there's 2 sections, both the washing machine and knock and do, which are just out of the skill level that we think we can train you to. And so we support you going down there. You're self-sufficient. That means everything you put into those barrels is all that you have for those 2 days or 4 days, and you must be properly equipped. The reason for that is if you're warm and dry, you're happy and you're not going to be a danger to yourself or the rest of your group. We've never had it, but I guess it's for us to say now, if you arrive an expedition and you're not properly equipped and you can't get a parent to come and sort you out or someone to sort you out, then we might not be able to allow you to continue because we don't want you to get into trouble. Teams must possess the necessary fitness, first aid, expedition skills to complete the expedition safely. So fitness is up to you. So you can see these girls lifting boats. We always have 4 people lifting boats, so that makes it much easier. There is a lot of hunking boats up and down, but I think it's easier than having a rucksack on all the time. All of you, I think, know about the first aid training. So you do first aid training online to start with, and then we train you on the first day of the training. And then expedition skills, that happens when you come on the training day in Easter. And it's at the end of your practice expedition that we're able to say to you, yes, we think you're competent to go off and do your assessed expedition. We do, so here, group mobile phone policy. Our mobile phone policy is that in the group, you can have 2 emergency mobile phones. One of the emergencies is an emergency, as in a backup emergency phone. And that is in the bottom of the barrel and it's turned off, fully charged. The other one is only, the only people you communicate with is us, so whoever the staff are, and it's only in case of emergency. And that's where it's really hard because you're using your phones all the time normally. So you get a 2-day or a 4-day phone-free experience. People pay lots of money for that. So you'll get a phone-free experience and you mustn't use your phone, okay? And you need as a group to help each other, not just to check your social media account while you're at it. We did have one group where I wasn't actually on the expedition, Rod was with them, and I was posting photos. And I then saw that somebody who was on the expedition had liked one of the photos. So I messaged Rod and he had a quick word with them. Okay, so just be really, really careful. You should plan and cook appropriate food each day. Yep, we'll talk to you more about cooking, but it is appropriate food. So it's not it's not pot noodles. It has to be enough food to keep you going, and also food that's going to not pollute the environment at the same time with the plastic. So that's the 20 conditions. Talking now about the training. So we are offering the training and the practice in East Anglia over Easter. The dates you've all got, we've had 2 sets of dates. So the first set of dates is now full. So the second lot of dates are from it's the 5th, 6th and 7th of April. So that's where the expeditions are going to take place. Okay, the assessed expeditions, we've either got the East Anglia rivers or we've got 2 places left in Scotland. Unfortunately, Sweden, we haven't had enough people sign up, so we aren't able to offer the Sweden option. Pre-expedition training is already starting. So lots of people signed up in September and October, and they've already begun some of their training. So you folks are going to need to get a move on just to get your first aid sorted and your route cards done. They're the 2 things that are key at the moment. And also to make sure you've got the kit that you need, because certainly at Easter, it could be very cold and the nights are long and dark, okay? What we've done is over lockdown, Rod and I did a whole load of YouTube videos. So on the Joy of Adventure YouTube, you will find all about food. We've done a whole load of different sorts of food. Basically, the food you can bring whatever you like, but we give you some principles and we want you to eat healthily. We want you to eat food you're going to enjoy. Cooking on DofE canoeing expeditions is the best, and all of you can have fires, so it's great to cook over the fire, or at least to have marshmallows to cook over the fire. On YouTube, you'll also see about the kit. Rod goes through all the kit that you need and also how to pack your boats. Okay, so our YouTube channel will be your friend along with Dropbox. So once you've signed up and we've got the payment from you, we will then send you a link to the gold Dropbox, and on there is all the information that you need about expeditions, about where the locations, about the kit list, and also copies of these Zooms are on there as well. First aid, really good. British Canoeing have given us permission to use their online training. So by the end of February half term, we're wanting everyone to have completed their online British Canoeing training. At the end of it, you can print a certificate and then you can add that to your eDofE as evidence. We also want you to send us a copy of that, or one person in your group to send the certificates for all of you, just so that we make sure that you've done it. Then actually when we meet you, we will then give you specific first aid training for canoeing, for things that might really go wrong. Lots of first aid, and we are first aid trainers, is spent teaching people how to do CPR. So for when people stop breathing, highly unlikely that's going to happen on expedition. So we give you we do teach it to you, but we also give you skills of what to do about ticks, what to do if someone has asthma, what to do if someone has an anaphylactic shock, and we train you in all those things that might actually really happen. So pre-expedition kit and equipment training. So again, they're on YouTube. You will arrive at the start of your expedition looking like this, really. So you can see these big IKEA bags. So you bring everything in your IKEA bags, but inside those, you then put them into these little dry bags. So particularly your sleeping bag and spare clothes, they need to go into a dry bag to then go into the water, the blue barrels that we give you. It just helps you to keep things organized. Sports Direct sell them. They're not very expensive at all, but it will really help you to keep your act together and keep organized and dry and warm. As Rod says, any idiot can be cold and wet. The only other thing you probably not got are these ponchos. So this was a group who did the River Severn. They only cost £5 from Decathlon, but they are really, really convenient, because if it's chucking it down with rain, you just put it right over you and your buoyancy aid, and then you're able to, you've got your own personal little tent. They aren't particularly fashionable, although I think a fashion is something that you can make yourself, so you can turn them into a fashion statement, no doubt. But we really do recommend, certainly those of you on the Cam rivers, these ponchos are fantastic. For £5, they are worth every penny. We also do have some Joy of Adventure t-shirts and hoodies. Last year, people just wanted hoodies. So I will send an email out to all of you, because if you'd like a hoodie, we're really happy to order them for you, but we only order in those that people ask for, and you pay for them in advance. I think that's something like £25, but we give them, yeah, we'll order them for you and you can have them for the expedition. Food, okay, food on expedition, as I've said before, is really important, and your planning is important. We're hoping that COVID won't mean that you've got to cook individually on individual stoves. We will keep you informed on what the rules and regulations are. During COVID, people had to cook individually. You had to sleep in tents on your own. I think that's all changing, but we've just got to, people keep asking me, and we've just got to go with whatever the government says. So if the government says you have to isolate, you have to be on your own at night, then we'll have to have you on your own. Hopefully that won't be the case. It's certainly much warmer if you can be in a tent with somebody else. And it's also much more friendly if you're all cooking food for each other. Every expedition has to have an aim, and that's the one that often people find quite difficult to sort out. You definitely want to have something that you can easily do a presentation on. So something where you can take photos of. So this was a group who did an art one. We've had a group do yoga going downriver. We've had a group collect litter. That's actually not quite such a good one there, basically because there's so much less litter in the river. Wildlife people have done. People have also assessed the water quality as they've gone downriver, and there's a lot in the media about water quality at the moment. So if any of you are doing science, in fact, the long road students, you could always talk to your DofE leader on that one, because actually assessing the water quality as you go downriver at different points could be a really interesting one to do. So that's another thing that you've just got to think about before your expedition starts. Talking about COVID and COVID procedures, we have got we're good to go Visit England kite mark, which means that we've thought it all through, and we will keep letting you know. So hand washing, and well, I was very pleased when I measured the canoes and they're 2 meters apart. Being outdoors, there's much less risk. But we did get people to take lateral flows before they came. But all those sorts of things, we would just follow whatever the government tells us to do, and then we'll ask you to do exactly the same. So that's the COVID stuff. Now we get on to the interesting bit, the expeditions. So gold practice, training and practice takes a place called Hopwold-cum-Wilton. It's on the River Wissey, which is a really, really beautiful river. It's a chalk stream river up on the Norfolk-Suffolk border. And Nicola and Charles, who are the farmer, they let us stay on their field. So this is their cow field. They let us stay on the field and let us use the river from there. So it's a private site. Nobody else uses it. It's just us. This is Rod teaching a group of golds right at the beginning how to all about boats. So we don't expect you to have canoed beforehand. If you have, fantastic, because you can always develop those skills, but you don't have to. You can see they're really stable. So these girls had never paddled before. At the moment, they got both the paddles on the same side. They'll end up being on one side, one on the other. But we'll teach you the paddle skills. We'll also teach you how to go forwards, how to go backwards, what to do if somebody capsizes. They're really stable. You only capsize really if you are determined to make them capsize. Standing up and bouncing up and down definitely makes them capsize, but that's your choice. And maybe in the summer when it's beautifully warm, you'll want to cool off. So just talking about that now, we don't allow people to go swimming, but we do let you cool off. And the difference is if you're cooling off, you're wearing a buoyancy aid. That's the only rule that we have seriously. If you don't wear your buoyancy aid when you're near the water or in the boat, then we have to ring your parents and they will have to come and collect you because we can't risk you not having a buoyancy aid on and something going wrong. So on that first day, we'll talk to you about your equipment and packing it and how you pack it. How do you get all your crud into one of these blue barrels? Because that's what you're going to need to do. We'll also talk to you about stove safety and hygiene. In fact, we'll talk to you about stoves beforehand because we are only going to allow people to have these trangia type stoves or the gas stoves. We don't want people to have meth stoves, nor do we want to have people to have stoves where you screw in the cooker part onto the top of the gas tube because they've become really unstable. We had 2 people last year who burnt themselves, and we don't want that to happen again. So that all happens on the first day of the training. Then in the evening, you go for a walk, and then you just go off and paddle, and you practice paddling up and down the river and just enjoying being on the river. Then you'll camp. Hopefully you'll get to camp next to the river because that's always magical. So this is the hot bowl campsite and the mist rises, and opposite you there's a kingfisher. It's beautiful. It's really lovely. Next day you'll set off downriver. So you go down the Little Ouse and you end up at Millennium Wood. Little Ouse is really pretty. This is partway down. I camped here last year actually. And you end up then down at the bottom where you have your only navigational challenge of the day, and you need to make sure you turn south instead of north, and you end up then at the Millennium Wood Campsite. This is a great campsite. This is these girls on it here. Nice big flat bit of grass. There are a couple of wooden shelters, and there is also an eco loo. So you've actually got a proper toilet to go into on that night. You'll set up your tents, you'll cook your food, and then the next day you will go off down the Great Ouse, and you then end up at going up the Wissey, and then up to a place called Wissington. What's great about this day is that the prevailing wind is behind you, so you can end up actually sailing down that bit, which is great fun. Obviously, if the wind is against you, it's a bit more of a challenge, and that's where you have to really dig deep, and you have to think every stroke I put in is getting me closer. And yes, it's hard work, but eventually I will get to the end, and I will have my parents will meet me, and I will have a bath, and it will all be all right, because that's the hard bit. So canoeing, I think, is probably easier than walking because you aren't carrying it all on your back all the time. But if the wind is against you, it's really hard work. So you get to the end. This was a group that just arrived at the end. I think they were from IBC in Cambridge. And once you've completed it, we will then tell you once you've completed it, you've unpacked, you've loaded up the trailer, we will then be able to say to you if we think you've got all the skills that's necessary to complete a remotely supervised expedition. And you'll be on the way for your assessed expedition. So the assessed expedition, most of you I know are wanting to do the Cam Rivers. So you're going to start off with Huntingdon, and you'll come through on the first day. I think it's about 8 different locks, which is great. So we'll teach you how to go through the locks. And if you've got people in your group who are over 18, you'll be able to go through the locks on your own. If you haven't, then we will meet you at the locks and just teach you how to go through and supervise you going through the locks. But you can see here the barrels in the bottom of the boats. You can see what they're wearing. It was obviously a summer day. You can see they've all got buoyancy aids on, and most of them got hats on. Hats are really, really important when it comes to canoeing because of the sunburn that you get. First night you'll camp at Hermitage Campsite, Flatbridge Farm. It's a great campsite. It really is in the middle of nowhere. Like all the campsites, it's next to the river. And all these ones, or certainly two of these, we put up our own toilets. So these are our own beautiful toilet tents, which are all nicely clean and all smell lovely. Okay, so just to let you know that that's what you'll be using for the toilet to start with on those campsites. Then for the next couple of days, you'll be paddling off downriver and you'll explore the different rivers, you'll camp at the campsites, you'll cook your food, you will make friends and have memories and experiences that you will remember for a lifetime. We'll meet you at various places, so checkpoints going downriver, we'll agree with you where we'll meet you, or we'll just turn up. Both Rod is a keen runner and I'm a keen swimmer, and so we find places where we can both run and swim. It's a really hard life. This was a guy from IBC as well, at one of the locks that we were going through. It's great. You have a really, really good time when the sun is shining. When it's raining, it's more of a challenge. And certainly you make friends. So this was a group, none of them knew each other. And by the end, they were the ones who said, we've gone from being strangers to having made friends that will last a lifetime, which is just fantastic. And they were a really great group. So at the end of it, you'll end up, having gone down to Denver Slough, you'll then end up in Norfolk on the River Wissey. And we will then, if you have completed your 20 conditions and the assessor has agreed, we will then make sure that you get your assessor's reports. Your presentation, probably you'll do in your college, because it's much better if you can do your presentation after you've got time to prepare it, rather than doing it straight away. I know there's a couple of people on the call who are doing the River Spey, so I'm just going to whip through this section. The River Spey is an amazing river. It's one of the top, I think there's 4 top rivers in the country for open boating, and the Spey is one of those 4. We start at Loch Inch, which is a beautiful loch right at the top. We had hoped that we were going to be camping there, but they're not letting us do that now. You organise your own travel up to Scotland. And you as a group sort that out, which is what I've said to you. One group last year flew, we've got a group this year flying, but others came by bus and others came by train. And it was an adventure, which they won't forget, because one of them had their train cancelled, and it was just good. They problem solved it and they worked it out as they went. So you'll be camping at Aviemore campsite to start with. We'll tell you about that and you organise paying for that. I've got a good deal on that one for you. The first day, you will, without the stuff in your boats, go from Loch Inch down to Aviemore, okay? And you can see this is a bit of it. You're starting in the mountains. You won't have your kit in your boats, and we'll teach you how to use moving water. So this group here, were absolutely, in fact, the girl here, she was absolutely petrified of moving water. So I said to her when we started, why on earth are you doing it? She said, well, my friends are doing it, so I had to do it. By the end, the bit they enjoyed most were the big rapids. So the next day, you will set off down the Spey, all right, with all your kit. You'll camp at different campsites as you go down. One campsite's an official campsite, and then the other 2 are wild campsites. So you don't have to pay for them, but we do provide you with the toilets. This was a group last year who it was hot and they just got into the river and they just had great fun doing racing games, running up and down the river, trying to get upriver against the flow, and the noise and the laughter was just fantastic. Day 2 is where you then hit the rapid that's called the washing machine. So we're able to get out and have a look at it beforehand. Some students decided they didn't want to go through, and so they walked around. Other students decided they wanted to go in a boat with Rod or with me, so we took them down. Other students thought, yeah, I'm going to do it, and they all did it. And none of them capsized, but I did. So that was most unfortunate. But the washing machine, it's just a fun rapid. Obviously, the river goes up and down, and it does depend how high the river is as to what the washing machine looks like. The second rapid there is the rapid that's called Knockandoo, and it's more of a swirly rapid with breakouts on either side of it. And again, we'll guide you down through those rapids. There's nothing that people can't do, certainly by the end of the second day, but you can see it's a very different river from the Cam rivers. And then you're off down the River Spey, and you end up on day 4 down at Spey Bay, where you've hit the sea. So you've gone from the mountains to the sea in 4 days. So for all of you who've completed your expeditions with us, we'll definitely get your start award. And if you want your Discover award, you can certainly, we'll certainly sort you out getting your certificate if you pay us the money. So just a few practical things now. Parents, I know we've got a couple of parents on this call. Parents are really, really, really important. And as students, my guess is you are dependent on them to fund your expedition, okay? But it is your award and not your parents' award. So we want to hear from you and not from your parents, okay? So they shouldn't be the ones checking on us on what the time is or where we're starting from or what food's needed or when's the route cards meant to be in. We'll give you all that information. Parents, we want them to allow you to take responsibility, right? Now, for parents, that's quite scary because for a long time, they've been taking responsibility for you, but we really do want you to take responsibility. It's your award and not parents. It's not your parents' gold, right? It's your gold. So you need to be the one to email us and not parents, but we want you to thank your parents for facilitating you and being able to do this, okay? But the key thing is it's you that we communicate with. We copy parents in, but it's only so they have the information. Groups, most of you are telling me which groups you want to be in. If you've come from one school, we'll put you all together. So certainly the Long Road folks, you'll all be in a group together. The Judd School, you'll be on a group together. We've got some people who signed up on their own, which is amazing. People who sign up to do expeditions on their own, I just think are on another level. It's fantastic. So we'll put you within groups and then we'll share all the emails with you so that you know what group number you're in and you can then communicate with everybody. Most people set up some sort of social media means of communication, so that's the easiest thing to do, but we'll talk to you about groups. And it's then one person in the group who will then be responsible for sending me the route cards and also sending me all the first aid proofs. Yeah, talking about friendship groups, we'll put you into friendship groups. You'll tell us what your friendship groups are and we'll put you into them. But don't be afraid of going from strangers to friends. This group didn't know each other, and by the end of it, friends for life. We've got a Facebook page, and I'm really aware that students don't often use it. We have got an Instagram account. I'm not very good at putting pictures on there, but certainly the Facebook page, if you go back and have a look on that page, you'll be able to see photos of loads and loads of that we've taken of loads and loads of gold expeditions, and you'll just get a feel of what it's like to come on an expedition with us. So nearly there, 2 more slides. What's the process now? If you have not sent us in your booking form, so that's the Word document that you email through to us, that's the first thing you need to do. You also need to complete a Google form. That's because if I type in your phone number, I'm dyslexic, I'm bound to get it wrong. So it's much easier for me if you fill out the Google form and then we use that while we're on expedition. You need to organise your initial payment. So if you're not from Long Road, your initial payment comes directly to me. Long Road folks, we're just sorting out how your payment's going to be made. Hopefully it will be able to go through the college because then you can get it cheaper. If it's not, then you'll have to pay me directly and then the price is slightly more. Well, it's the same as everybody else's. Once you've done that, we will then send you a Dropbox link, and in the Dropbox you'll find all the information that we've been talking to you about, route planning, kit list, information about where the start and end points are, all those sorts of things. We'll also send you an email with those that you're in a group with, so that you can then start communicating. Just one thing just to say, you also need to make sure you've got an eDofE account. You can't just, if you've done silver, you need to sign up to get gold. It's about £30 for a gold account. Sometimes schools charge a bit more because they need to pay someone to verify the accounts, but as a basic fee, it's at £30. Once you've done that, you've then got the YouTube training to do. So there's the training meeting that we had a few weeks ago that talked to you about doing your route cards and your first aid and your kit, getting that sorted. And then we will then have a pre-expedition Zoom meeting in March. And I'll make sure you all know that. So it'll be about 2 weeks before your expedition. We will have a training Zoom meeting where we'll just confirm all the details. You'll make sure that you know all the kit that you need, and you can ask any questions. So that's the kind of background. Hopefully that's answered lots of your questions. But I'm just going to check in the chat box now to see. It's at the moment there's no questions in the chat box. Anyone got any questions? Do put them in the chat box, or if you want to take your mic off, you can ask those questions. I think while we're waiting for that to happen, I'm going to stop the recording. So if you've been listening to this later and have got questions, please do email them to us, dearv@joyofadventure.co.uk. And if you want to join us on expedition, you'll be very welcome. So,
hi Joy, this is Paul.
Hello, Paul.
Yeah, I'm not sure if any of his spay group are on as well, but it seems they're from Solihull, so they're getting a flight from Birmingham up. So they're going to Inverness, but then coming back from Aberdeen. So I'd leave it until later, but we want to make sure, if we can, to get on the same flights as them. So I was probably going to try and book that as soon as possible. So they were talking about getting a minibus. Are they like meeting you somewhere once they've got the minibus, or are you seeing them at the airport? How does that work?
I think they were getting a taxi minibus.
All right, from the airport to wherever you're, to Aviemore, or wherever that first location is. Yeah, that was then certainly how they did it. Back to Aberdeen.
Yeah, certainly that was the cheapest way they did it last year. They organised a taxi. So Aviemore taxis are very good, and they've got some big taxis, and just come and pick them up.
All right, excellent. Okay, and you'll have all the other kit.
Yeah, we bring all that. So we have the boats and paddles and all of that sort of stuff. If people want to rent tents and stoves from us, you certainly can. We have to charge for them, but people just need to let us know, and we will then bring up tents and stoves. And we've also gas has been quite difficult to get hold of. We've got gas left over from last year, which we're happy to sell to people as well. So people need to bring their own gas. Okay, let's go through.
Thank you.
When we'll be told our group numbers. I think that's as soon as I confirm your groups in your group, I will then say what your group number is. Please, so a practice expedition for the camp. So I think that's Zoe. So most of you on this call, your practice expedition will be from the 5th to the 7th of April. The first dates, the 2nd to the 4th, are already full. So they but I'm happy for you to send me an email and I'll confirm that with you, but I think that's the case. If someone's not at the college, you can just do a presentation. So somebody here is saying that somebody's not in college anymore, so therefore who does he do the presentation to? You can do it to us online, just do a PowerPoint and we'll sit through it, or you can just have a family friend. DofE doesn't mind how it's done as long as it is done. Can we hire equipment? Yes, you can certainly hire equipment, but just let us know, because obviously there's a limit to the number of tents and stoves we've got. But yeah, really happy to bring it up for you. Yes, so we have got a few people who are doing both silver and gold at the same time. Yes, I'm trying to keep you in the same group for you'll be in the same group for your practice and for your assessed, but obviously your assessed silver, but not your assessed gold, because you'll be doing that with another group. So hopefully do send me an email if it's not clear on that one. Yeah, so people wanting to know what groups you're in. For those who've just joined up from Long Road, as soon, I think Adam said that you've got to have all your stuff in by the 1st of February. So as soon as we've got your stuff in, we will then allocate you to groups and tell you who you're in a group with, or you can tell me who you want to be in a group with, as seeing as you're all from Long Road and you may know each other. So I know some people have got friends, you're joining up with a friend and you say, I don't mind who else I'm with, but I want to be with Arthur or Adam or Anika or whoever it is. And you can also have people from different schools. I know somebody from Long Road wanted to come, but wanted to be with a friend from another school. Yep, that's fine. These are open award expeditions, which means that you can people from all sorts of schools can join in them. Okay. Any more questions?